recording and fill up your sheet. Very well. So I'm going to ask questions to be saved for the end. If you can write your questions so you don't forget it, and at the end we will answer the questions. Okay, everybody sees my screen?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you so much. Okay, if by any, sometimes I make the mistake, my screen stops sharing, please do let me know. All right, so requirement number 1 is to be at least in 5th grade. I believe that most of us are older than the 5th grade, so we're good to go. And we're gonna continue with question number 2. Understand and practice wilderness and camping etiquette regarding preservation of the outdoors. When we're camping, when we're going backpacking, when we're outdoors, there is an etiquette. That means there is a sort of behavioral process where we conduct ourselves in a certain way. These are some of them. The first one is that we prepare ahead of time. We don't improvise. You cannot just say today, oh, this weekend, the weather is going to be nice. Let's go with the club to have a camp out. No, you have to prepare. You have to organize yourself. You have to have a program. You have to have a plan. So a camp out, a camporee, a camp is not something that you will do it out of the blue. You need preparation. Second one is that you need to travel and camp on durable surfaces. When you get to the site, you want to make sure that you will be in a site that is secure, it's not slippery, there's no water ponding on it, it's not an area that is full of mosquitoes, it's not an area that is too close to the river. So you want to make sure that you're going to be camping on an area that has durable surfaces, which means dry land, a place where you can pitch your tent, right? If you're going to be on rocks, you're not going to be able to put your stakes. So you might want to consider all these. The third one is dispose of waste properly. When we go camping, we don't want to leave the space where we were camping worse than when we came. So we need to pick up after ourselves. This comes into planning when we need to bring some trash bags. We need to bring garbage bags because otherwise, where are you going to put your garbage? So you need to have a plan that you're going to have 2 types of food, 2 types of waste. You're going to have recyclable waste and you're going to have organic waste. So organic waste, it will be disposed. I have to become aware in the camp where I'm going, in the park, if it's a state park, or if it's Camp Berkshire, where is the garbage disposal section? Okay, you guys know already Camp Berkshire where we have it, but if we were camping at any other place, we have to become familiar to know where we dump the trash. And if we're gonna have recycling, which is something that I have seen not many clubs do it, we should do it though, is you bring your bag for recycling and then you bring a black bag for the organic trash. Leave what you find. Do not disturb nature. Do not chop a tree because you liked it and you need some souvenir, or you go and carve in the tree. I don't know. Wayne was here. Orion, Pathfinder Vanguard of Orion was here. You don't want to damage nature. You want to leave it the way you found it. You don't want to leave trash. You don't want to take out. Many people end up taking wildlife. They take snails, they take turtles back home. They take them away from their natural habitat, and this is not good. We don't take things, okay? Minimize campfires impact. We need to be careful when we do fires, and there's gonna be a question where we are only gonna address fire safety. So you need to know that there is a process where we go through in order to have safety in regards of the fires that we're gonna build. Respect wildlife. Don't be attacking nests. Don't be chopping places where you think animals might live. And even though it sounds unusual, even if you find a snake, if it can be helped, don't kill it. Try to relocate it. You know, we have to be careful. We're coming into their homes. That's their habitat. We are the guests. So we don't want to be breaking nests or killing some animals, killing some. I know mosquitoes is something that we can do anything about it, but you know, we want to disrupt nature and the fauna as little as possible. Be considerate of others' visitors. When we're camping, we're not the only ones. So something that happens often is that people like to make shortcuts through somebody else's campsite. This is not okay. It's not okay to have this. So if you can help it, don't go through other people's campsites. And if you have to, then most likely you can ask them ahead of time, can I pass this? And don't make it a habit, especially in camporee, when we have so many people camping and they, the organizing committee makes does the extra work to design streets and divisions. And sometimes people think these streets are just suggestions and they can go across diagonally through people's campsites. That's not okay. So if we have to do it, we have to be considerate to others. As for permission, in terms of quiet time, there's also a quiet time. Even if it's a conversion or at a state park, there will be a quiet time. So do not put generators on. Keep your conversations very low. Don't be nailing stuff, chopping wood. Just be considerate, because some people have their sleeping hours very set on stone, and we need to respect that. Also, if you make so much noise at the state park, that ranger will come and he will call you out. So you don't want to be your group being the one that is being called out, because we preach with our behavior as well. So we want to be the sermon. We want to be the sermon. We want to preach with our actions, show that we are respectful, that we're different. If we stand out from the other campers because of our misconduct, we're not being good ambassadors of the club ministries, okay? So this is for number 2. I know the space that you have is very short, so you can make it concise, shorten it, put in your own words. And if you don't have enough space, you can also attach additional spaces, and additional papers in the back where you continue writing question number 2, continues, and then you keep it for yourself. Because eventually you will be giving this honor at your club or in the future. So you want to keep this worksheet and these answers, because it will be your guide when it's your turn to teach it. We're going to go to question number 2. I'm going to ask Raquada if she can help me reading that question.
3.
Yes, question 3.
Question 3. Know 8 things to do when lost.
Thank you so much. So the first one is do not panic. Panic is your worst enemy. If you panic, you're not going to have a clear head, and it's not good to take decisions just with the feelings or with the emotions. We need to use logic and reason. So relax, take a deep breath. Everything is under control. You're there, and most important, your angel and God is with you. So relax, breathe, and next step, you pray. Okay, ahead of everything, we rely on prayer. Even if we humanly don't have the way out, we rely that God is going to give us a solution to our troubles. Number 3, remain in the same place. If you got lost and people will need to find you, they will try to remember, where was the last time when I saw Evelyn? It was at the intersection. Okay, I saw Evelyn at the intersection. I'm going to go back and look for Evelyn there. But if Evelyn moved, I'm not going to find her. Now she's lost and I have no clue where to look for. And this is important also in big camporees where you're not familiar. It happened to us at the last international camporee in Oshkosh. We lost an adult member because there were so many streets. By the time it became dark, she couldn't tell which one was her street. She passed by our campsite many times. She had to end up sleeping with another group because she couldn't find us that night. So it's not something to take it lightly. It happens. So if you get lost, remain in the same place. This will make it easier for us to find you. Listen carefully. If you're in the forest, listen carefully for sounds coming from other campers, traffic, rivers, maybe cars. Other signs can help you find a road. So listen. Maybe some sound, maybe it's gonna sound like people playing. There might be a pool over there. There might be a lake and people are being loud at the play, or they're having a barbecue in the picnic area. And even though you're in the woods, you hear that there's people over there, so you know where to start walking towards. And this happens after you waited, because we say don't move, but you start in a radius of about 5 feet, 10 feet, you start trying to locate what is around me, right? In order to listen, I don't need to leave my space where I was lost. So I start listening, I start to look around, always staying close to the place where I was. All right, so I listen. If I hear a sound, I probably want to go there and find some campers that they will help me back in the right path, or they will contact some help. They can lend me a phone. Maybe there's signal over there. Maybe there's a ranger over there that can help me. Look around for clues that could lead you towards a town or village. So you're gonna start walking. Sometimes in hiking trails, there are some signs on the trees that tell you which direction you're going. Try to see if there is a map or if there is a trail. If there is a trail, that means you might encounter some people moving through. So you might want to do this. And the following steps are you're still in your spot. We need to have a whistle. We spoke previously about this when we're doing the hiking honor, that most equipment, most backpacks have a whistle built in. But if you don't have, you might want to have a whistle, because a whistle will help you send a signal for people to know where you are. So the way we use the whistle is that we blow the whistle or yell 3 times every 15 minutes in case someone could be near us. So every 15 minutes, you're blowing your whistle. And don't just blow it one time, try to make it in a way that people don't think it's a bird or somebody's playing. So you might want to do it 2 times, 3 times systematically, so they know somebody is requesting help. If you have a map and a compass, there's different type of compasses. We will talk about this. I think I mentioned it a little bit. But there is a compass that is just a round one that you use to walk with. And there is another compass that has a flat surface that you can put it on top of a map. So in this case, we're talking about a compass that goes on top of the map. You can put it on top of your map and try to locate, are you north, are you south? What do you have close? Is the map showing any river? Is the map perhaps showing an office for the park ranger and an information center where you can go? Is there a picnic area? Is there a camping grounds? Is there a swimming area? So you want to locate that. And this is why it's important in the planning ahead, in the first step that we said, to have a map of the place where we're gonna go. If it's a place that you already know, then that's good. But if it's a place that you're not that familiar, go to the park's website, download the map. They have park maps where they show you where all the areas are, where the bathrooms are, where the office ranger office is, when the information center is, picnic areas, camping areas, RV areas. So you can have an idea of what is there. Mark your location with a rock. So it comes a moment where you need to start moving a little bit, exploring, like we said. So you're gonna mark your location with a rock or any other object. You might want to put a stick or something that it will stand out, that is your center, that is a starting point. And then you start looking around in a radius of 30 feet. 30 feet will be about a little less than half a block in Manhattan, those long blocks, okay? A little less than a block in Manhattan, the long ones. A block in Manhattan is about 100 feet, so almost a little less than half. So you start exploring, you put your center and you walk in every direction. You go a little bit down there, we said 30 feet. You walk over there. It's about the length of the height of 3-story buildings, okay? A house with 3 stories, kind of that length, that's 30 feet. So you will be walking around and seeing, are there trees? Is there a lake? Is there a pond? Is anybody walking over here? And you keep blowing your whistle every 15 minutes. And hopefully you will be able to make contact or somebody will be able to find you. So those are the 8 things that you can do. Obviously, if you have a cell phone, maybe you can try to get reception and make a call. But we don't usually rely on technology because technology in these areas, there's no coverage there. The battery can run out, things like that. So it's very important for us to have a compass and a whistle. And one important thing for this, in order to avoid this, because these 8 steps were if you got lost. But the most important thing, it will be don't get lost. Don't separate from your club. Don't separate from your group. That's why when we organize hikes, for those people who came to the conference hike, you guys saw that we have people in the back, making sure that nobody was left behind. So we have a leader in the front, a leader in the back, and they make sure that nobody is left behind. Don't separate from your club. If you at some point you need to go to the bathroom or you need to derail for any reason, communicate with your staff, communicate with your team. And that's the best solution. Prevention is the best that we can do addressing the situation. Right, so those are 8 things. You can simplify it, put it in your own words in your paper. Now, be familiar with various types of sleeping equipment suitable to location and season. We were talking a little bit about this during the hiking honor, but we're gonna refresh. So there are different types of sleeping bags, and each type has a reason why it is. Some of them are used for regular temperatures when it's not too hot, not too cold. For instance, when we're going to Campuri at Cambercia, right? We're already in spring, so it's not like winter. I know it gets cold, but it's not winter cold. So in these cases, we have the rectangular sleeping bag. You can see the photo here. This is the most common, also the most affordable type. It's just a rectangle. It's very light, it's practical, but because it doesn't have an enclosure on top, it loses heat, which means that you're not gonna be keeping all your thermal body temperature inside, but it will escape through the top. So this one is good for summer or spring. If you're going on an activity in summer or spring, this might be a good one, okay? And it's also one of the most affordable ones. Then we have the mummy bag. As you guys see, this one takes a name from the shape. It looks like a mummy sarcophagus. So this one does have a hood for the head. You close it all the way, so you only leave your nose and maybe your eyes outside of it. You keep inside as much as possible body temperature inside. It has very good insulation and is very useful for cold weathers. If you're a person that gets cold easily, even at Cambercia the first night, it was extremely cold. So you might want to get one of these. This one is good for winter camping, for fall camping. If you're a person that tends to be hot easily, you're gonna be good with the first one, with the rectangular one. But if you tend to be cold, then this is a good option for cold weathers, cold activities, okay? Hopefully someday in the future, we're gonna be having winter camping with our conference, so this will be the type that you will want to get for that activity. Next one is the barrel bag. As its name has it, it's barrel shaped. It's a small combination, if you see it, between the mummy sack and the square sack. You see, it has a little narrower part in the feet, so you can save space and you also save body heat. Since it's not wide at the bottom, you're not wasting your body heat in that space, but it's just your feet. But it doesn't have a hood on the top. You see, in that sense, it's kind of like the rectangular shape sleeping bag, but it has a little bit more insulation than the rectangular. So this is kind of in between the rectangular, in between the mummy. So this could be good for medium temperature, let's say, when it's fall. Let's say we're going camping sometime in late September, early October. You can be good with this one. It is also a little more heavier. The mummy and these barrel bag, sleeping bags are a little more heavier. You also take into consideration that because when we're doing backpacking, you have to carry everything that you have. When we go to wilderness camping, you're gonna have to be carrying everything that you're bringing. So if you can't carry it, don't bring it. So those things also can be taken into consideration. You want a lighter bag, or you want to have a sleeping bag with good insulation, but it's a little heavier, so you have to maybe put it on top, carry it separately. So you have to take into consideration all those things. The following these are accessories, these are add-ons that we can do. Most of our body heat when we go camping, we lose it because it's in contact with the soil. The soil, the ground gets very cold at night. And for those of you going to Wyoming, you guys have heard many warnings that they have given us. We're going to an area that is sort of a desert. So it will be extremely hot during the day, but it will be very cold at night. So you want to have some type of insulation, some separation between the soil and your body. If you put your sleeping bag, it's not just cushioning, because many people think it's about the cushioning. It's not so much about the cushioning. It's also about creating a barrier between the soil and between your body. If the sleeping bag is directly on the tent and the tent on the soil, and you have nothing in between, the cold from the ground is going to penetrate and you're going to be cold. So there's different insulation barriers that you can do. The first one is a foam pad. There are different types of foam. This one is a closed cell foam pads. Open cell foam pads, they tend to, when you squeeze it, they tend to be flatter, so they get very thin. These ones are a little more rigid, so even if you step on it, they still keep their volume and they keep the separation. So you have this type. You also have them, there are certain ones that they fold them. They fold them in as if it was an accordion, something like that. You fold it like that. It's like many pieces of this. You fold it like this. Okay, and that usually they are wrapped in aluminum, so it helps you provide insulation. This other one is single width mattress, air mattress. This is the type that I like to use for camperies, because unlike most of the air mattresses that are full side or queen side, you cannot put those inside a tent. And if you have a person coming with those, that person took already all the space. But this one is exactly the width of a sleeping bag. So you can fit maybe 4 or 5 of these ones inside a tent. If you have a 6 people tent, you can fit 4. If you have an 8 people tent, you can fit 6 of them inside. So I'd recommend for those clubs going to Wyoming to get these ones. They're around $30 and they can be packed very compact in this little pouch. Perfect. Let's keep going to question number 5. I'm gonna ask Sister Agnes if you can help me with reading question number 5.
Everyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, list personal items needed for the weekend camp out. And I love it.
Thank you so much. So a weekend camp out can be a camperee, or it can be a local club, or it can be an outing with a unit that you go, or as we're gonna do soon for the wilderness camping as Master Guide candidates. Now, if you were going to international camperee, that is more days, you will have to multiply the number of items that you're bringing, okay? But this is a very basic list. So we're gonna go over them. Most of them we already saw when we were checking the hiking list. Remember that you guys have a list of personal items. And in this honor, you also have a personal list of items at the end. So these are some of the items that you can list there. The first one are thick socks. You want to insulate your feet, especially at night, or if you're hiking, you might want to use sometimes double socks. Some people wear double socks. So if you're going to be wearing double socks when you buy your boots, you might want to try double socks when you're buying them. Otherwise, if you just go with the one sock, when you put 2 of them, it's going to be tight. Okay, so thick socks for camping, jeans, light shirt, short sleeve, light shirt, long sleeve. The reason is because temperature varies, and putting on different layers, you can add on or take off to regulate your body temperature. You have a hat, hiking boots, a windbreaker, a beanie for the night, a sleeping bag, air mattress, flashlight, a must. And if you're taking a flashlight, you have to most likely take spare batteries, or if it's one of those flashlights that recharge with USB. Nowadays, we have that technology with us. You might want to bring a power bank in order to load it, or a secondary set of flashlights, right? Toilet paper, don't take it for granted. I know when we go to Camp Berkshire, everything is nice and set, and we have soap and we have toilet paper. But when we go camping as a local club to other places, you cannot take this for granted. You have to bring your toilet paper, your Bible, a notepad, and a pencil. This is very important, not just for taking notes. Sometimes you need to label, or you need to send messages or put some instructions. So having a notepad and pencil is always helpful. Pajamas, Pajamas or the equivalent of a set of clothes for you to sleep. If you don't wear pajamas at home, it's fine. We just need you to bring a set of clothes that you will use for sleeping, not for the day. So they're exclusively a set of clothes that you will be using when you go to sleep. A toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, soap. Now this is a little question here. When we go to Camp Berkshire, you guys know we have 2 minutes to shower. So back then, especially for ladies, we said no washing your hair, right? So you might take that into consideration for your camp. You could tell your club, if you're gonna wash your head, wash it before you leave the camp, because over there's not gonna be too much water or you cannot take too much time. So depending on that, you might need to bring the shampoo or not. Soap, if you're gonna bring soap, take into consideration that if it's a bar, you're gonna need to store it somewhere. So you might want to bring a little plastic to contain it, or a little plastic bag where you put it, because that bar of soap is gonna be wet after you come out of the shower. And you don't wanna put this in your backpack with your clothes. You need to store it somewhere. Or if you're gonna bring just body, that liquid soap, then that's fine. But you might want to bring it, secure it, because you don't want pressure something to break it and then it explodes inside your bag. So you need to secure this in an extra spare plastic bag or a spare container. A towel. Now, if I recommend when we're going camping, I tell the kids to bring one for hands and face, a small one, and then the other one for body when they shower. If they're gonna be going to the pool and they're gonna be using the same towel, it's gonna get dry by the time, it's gonna get wet. By the time they go to shower, it's already wet. So you might want to consider that. Sometimes nowadays you can buy the microfiber towels. They're a little lighter. They're a little lighter and they get dry faster. Okay, I was trying to look if I have one on hand, but you will know if you go to Amazon and you look for microfiber towels. They are more compact. They usually fit in a little bag like this, and you stretch them out and they dry faster than a regular towel. So that's something that you could, at least as an individual, you might want to invest in a microfiber towel. Swimsuit. All right, let's be modest when we use our swimsuit. We're not posing for a calendar. So if you're gonna have a 2 pieces, maybe you want to throw a little tank top on top, or something that's especially for the ladies. And for the guys, remember we use the ones with the inner mesh for your swimming trunks. You want to use the ones with the inner mesh inside. Flip-flops. And flip-flops, this is a must, because you don't want to enter into a shower that you don't know if it's been clean or not, or how many people have gone through, and be barefoot. You don't want to be catching fungi on your feet and then have a nice souvenir when you go back that you need to take care of. So bring your flip-flops to go into the shower. Sunscreen. Do not underestimate the sun. You need to bring sunscreen, bug repellent, medicine if you have any allergies or any other condition, rain poncho, first aid kit, lip balm. Many people have cracked lips, so bring a lip balm. Baby wipes, very useful when you don't have the time to go shower fully. So you need to clean out, let's say your face is sweating, your chest is sweating, you can very quickly take care of yourself like that. Worst case scenario, like it happened with us at Camporee, there was not enough water at the beginning, so baby wipes become your best friend. And blankets. If you're one of those persons that get cold, extra cold very fast, don't just bring your sleeping bag, bring a spare blanket. Okay, so I gave you 30 items. You can add some, you can take some, depending on your needs, and you will complete the table that you have at the end. Number 6. Evelyn, can you read number 6, please?
Plan and participate in a weekend camping trip.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So this is something that I suggest in order to fulfill this requirement. I would greatly encourage you not to fulfill it with the Camporee, because Camporee will be different at a camp out. At Camporee, we go and the conference gives the programming and we only are an audience. We're watching, we're not doing. In order for us to know how to plan a camp out, I suggest this to be either your family campout, a unit campout, or a local club campout. During the pandemic, we couldn't do it like this, but nowadays that things kind of went back to normal, we can plan at least 2 days, at least 2 days with your local club and take them out and complete this assignment. And the reason why I said Camporee is not the best to fulfill this is because at Camporee, for instance, you're not going to be able to teach them how to build a fire. You're not going to be able to teach them how to chop wood. You're not going to be able to teach them how to cook something because there is a specific schedule and time, and you have to attach to that time. Going on a local club, you can design your programming to fit these activities enough time to help them pitch a tent, enough time to take them to build a fire, enough time to go and teach them how to collect the firewood, enough time to teach them how to use the axe, how to use the knife, how to use the saw. Things that at Camporee you cannot, because at Camporee the activities have already been designed. So I strongly suggest that you make time on your own or with your local club to make a weekend camp out for you, not only to fulfill this, but to get that learning experience. Because at a Camporee, you're not going to be doing it, not at least as the way we intended. The reason why this is here is because in the future, you will be planning Camporee. When you become director, when you become an instructor, you're going to have to teach this to your pathfinders, and you need to be able, you need to have that already the experience of how to plan a weekend camp out. So I strongly encourage you to not fill this requirement with the Camporee, with the adventure or Pathfinder Camporee. We're gonna have, as I mentioned, a Master Guide Camporee at the end of August, and it's the last weekend between end of August and 1st of September. So I encourage you, everybody, we can fulfill this requirement then, because then we will be doing things. We will be making enough room to complete all these activities. So if you cannot attend to this Camporee, then you can always design a local club camp, or just get together with 2 or 3 candidates here. Make sure you get some assistance from an instructor or somebody that is experienced from your club, and you can go on a weekend. We did it a couple of years ago with some of the candidates from the English class that we ended up going to conversion on our own on a weekend, and we were able to complete this one. So you can do it as a unit, or you can do it with your local club. In your answer paper, you have a date, you have a line, so you provide a date when you completed this, and if possible, the place where you completed as well, okay? Let's go to number 7. I'm going to ask Medita to help me read, please, number 7.
During the wilderness camp, you will demonstrate.
The question.
Oh, sorry. Know how to properly pitch and strike a tent. Observe fire precautions when tent is in use. Continue now?
Okay. I'll continue.
Okay.
So many of you were already at Camporee, and you at some point or another have become familiar on how to pitch a tent, but you have to demonstrate me that you know how to pitch a tent. So we will be doing this when we have the wilderness camping, but in case you don't have experience, we will also be teaching it over there. Every tent is slightly different, but pretty much the process is the same. First, we need to identify where we're gonna put our tent. Second, we need to take out in order, right, the pieces from our tent. Make sure that we become familiar with how many pieces it brings, so we don't end up packing it back and missing stakes or missing the canopy. So we become familiar. We take the tent, we stretch it, we put the poles through. Then if you have somebody to do it, it will be easier to lift up the arches, the poles. You start getting the shape. Then when we have the shape, we start putting the stakes. So all these things we're gonna be doing in person when we have our wilderness camp, or if possible at the Master Guide Camporee. But here are the rules that you need to know in order to prevent fire damage, okay? First of all, we want to keep a clearance of at least 20 feet between a fire and a tent. 20 feet, imagine a house of 2 floors. Usually floors are 10 feet. So at the distance of the height of a 2-story house, you want to stay away from that fire within this distance, because fires have sparks and sparks fly. And a lot of times you don't have to control where that spark's gonna go. That's why we also keep an eye when those sparks are going. We have to, if we see them getting closer to the camp, sometimes we gotta chase them and put them out, because they will not only make little holes in your tent because it's fire, it's hot, and our camps are synthetic, so they're highly flammable. They can land on that roof of your canopy and they will make a hole. And then when it rains, that tent is kind of ruined. You gotta either put a patch or something. But worst case scenario is if somebody was inside that tent and that tent catches fire, that person is trapped inside and it can be deadly. So this is one of the reasons we have to keep this clearance, because it's just a safe way to avoid sparks touching our tents. The next one is to never light a fire inside a tent. For no reason, think that you can strike a match or you can bring a candle inside your tent. Please keep in mind, tent materials are extremely flammable and they are synthetic. If a synthetic fabric falls on top of your skin, it's very difficult to take it away. So you want to prevent all these horrible accidents. So keep the clearance necessary and keep any flammable material away from your tent. And this includes also the kitchen. When we have our kitchen canopies, we don't want to put the stove all the way to the back, because also the heat can make holes, and sometimes just the heat itself damages the materials. And many kitchens nowadays, they have a protector, the stoves have like a little wall of metal to protect it. So you want to keep enough distance between your stove and the back of your kitchen tent. Number 8, I'm gonna ask Denise, can you read Denise Bab? Can you read number 8 for me, please? I'm sorry, it's Dennis.
Yeah, know how to practice the proper principles for camp sanitations for both primitive and established campsites.
Thank you so much. For those coming from another country, you guys know that here we have luxury camping, where we have all the services, we even have hot water. So it's slightly different. This is where we divide them into primitive and established. Here in the United States, most of our campsites are established. So it's an advantage. But in some places, you will have to be camping under primitive installations. So when it's primitive, you get to the place and there is no bathroom, there is no shower, there is no water. You have to make it yourself. One of them, the first one will be to build latrines, which is the bathroom, the toilets. And in order to do this, we want to dig holes to dispose of the waste. And if we're going to be digging holes, we want to keep a clearance of about 200 feet from any source of water and 100 feet from the campsite. 200 feet from the water, because when things go into the soil, they permeate, they penetrate, they filtrate. And if you're too close to a lake, that waste underground is gonna run towards the lake and you're polluting the water. So you don't want to be drinking or swimming in that contaminated water later on. So you want to keep that clearance to 100 feet. And 100 feet from your campsite, because you want to stay away from the waste, from the odor, from the smell, from the waste. So you don't want to have your bathroom too close to your campsite. Okay. So that way, if you have to dig a hole, let's say you're on a hike and there are no bathrooms, you guys have seen that we have shovels, right? You've seen it on movies, you've seen it in places. There are shovels that you can carry with you as campers. If this is a situation and you don't have a latrine and you have to go to the bathroom, then you need to dig a hole of about 3 to 4 inches deep. Then you do your business and then you will have to cover that. And the reason why we do 3 and 4 inches, this is not for the whole club, this is for one person. It's different when we go to install a latrine for the whole camp, then we have to dig deeper down. But as an individual, one person is going to go to the bathroom. 3 to 4 inches allows for bacteria to start decomposing faster. If you do it deeper than that, bacteria don't go that deeper. So it's going to take longer to decompose. But between 3 to 4 inches, bacteria are going to get rid of that waste faster. Also, hygiene in the kitchen utensils. You don't want to remember your camp out with your local club because everybody got salmonella or because everybody got Escherichia coli, right? You want to make sure that you wash your hands. People in the kitchen wash their hands. Everybody washes their plates correctly. And we're gonna have a question when we talk about washing dishes. So you want to keep it safe so everybody can enjoy the activity without having any gastric discomfort. The camp will be ruined if you have to take back the club because somebody's having diarrhea and you have to take them to the emergency room. So you have to, prevention is the best solution to our problems. When we come back to the washing dishes, we're gonna talk about all the different stations that we need to do. Now, when you have established services, then you have a restroom and you have showers, then you're blessed. You only need to use them. And in order to keep your hygiene, you need to bring your personal items, such as your brush tooth, your toothpaste, comb, soap for your face. You want to keep clean. Camping in the woods is not an excuse for you to be smelly, to be dirty, to be, sweaty and odor is a big thing. If you see that everybody is going away from you, maybe something is happening, right? We have people that have very strong smell when they are in activity. And when we go camping, we're doing physical activity. It's something normal. It will happen. Just make sure that you are preventing this. If you sweat a lot in your feet and you will have a smell on your feet, then you want to make sure that you have enough things to wash your feet, to dry it, to change enough socks. If you need to bring extra pair of socks so your feet stays dry, do it. Everybody has different body pH, and that everybody's sweat is slightly different. So you know yourself better, you know what you will need. And remember also the baby wipes, they come in handy in these situations. Number 9, I'm gonna ask Emanuela, help me read please question number 9.
Sorry, you just want me to read
Just the
question number
question.
9, right?
Yes.
Okay. Properly use the knife and hatchet, not 10 safety rules for their use.
Sorry, right there it was no, not. No 10 safety rules for the use. Okay. So in Google Classroom, I'm gonna put a little video of somebody who's teaching how to use the knife and the hatchet. Hopefully when we get in person as well in the camper, you will be doing this on the field and you will have an axe and you will have a saw and a knife, and we're gonna teach you how to use them. But right now we're going over the theory. So the first one is we want to maintain our tools sharp. There is no use if you're carrying an axe, a hatchet, a knife to camp, and when you want to use it, it doesn't have enough sharpness. It's not cutting things, right? So you want to keep maintaining that is not a dull blade. You want to keep it sharp. Second is when you pass it on to somebody else, you want to pass it on. Well, I left my knife here, but I have a box cutter. So the part that has the blade, you don't want to be pointing to the person. You want to do it the other way around. Always handing the handle to that person away, the blade away from them and the handle towards them, right? So be mindful of where your knife is pointing when you're moving it. You don't want to hurt somebody. You keep it away from yourself and keep it away from the other person, the blade. Keep your fingers away from the edge. Many camping knives have double blades. So both blades, both sides are sharp. So you don't be playing, don't be putting your fingers around, don't be taking the risk of just playing with it and then you're gonna end up with a cut. Carry it always from the handle. Close and put away pocket knives when not in use. If a tool, a hatchet, a knife, a saw is not in use, store it. And this is especially at risk when we're setting up camps, because when we're setting up camps, we're putting up fences, we're setting up tents, and sometimes we just have the tools right there, and then we finish and we forgot to put them away. Pathfinders, kids, they're curious. They will see that and they will try to play with that. So if you didn't store it properly, they could use it and get hurt. So after you use it, you want to store it away. This is why it's so important to have a storage tent when we're camping. So all the things that need to be out of the reach of the pathfinders can be stored there, and only the staff has access to the kitchen, to the storage tent. Keep the edge away from heat sources and do not damage the handle when chopping wood. So heat will make your blade dull. You don't want to drop your knife and leave it right next to the fire, right next to the stove, because the heat will take away the sharpness of the blade. And another thing that you don't want to do is a lot of people put their knives on the ground. They plant it there and they leave it standing up like that. What happens is in the soil, you have little pebbles. And when you put it in the ground, the pebbles are cutting away from the blade, and then you're gonna have chips all over your little blade, and your blade is not gonna be the best. It's not gonna cut smoother now. You are taking away time from your blade, because it won't last you as long as it's supposed to be. Okay, so we continue here. Before we're chopping wood, move the hatchet slightly and make sure it does not get stuck with the branch leaf. So you're gonna swing it. Let me see, give me 1 second. I have a hatchet. I'm gonna see if I can get. My hatchet, while they get my hatchet, we're gonna read. So hatchets, there are different types. Sometimes you have the hatchets that you can attach the top, the head, and you use roll it on top of the handle, so it could become loose. You want to make sure that you shake it a little bit to make sure it's attached properly. Also, when you're gonna be chopping with a hatchet, you don't want to have any obstacle on top. Let's say you have a tree, you have branches, or you have something. You want to make sure that there is nothing on top. So I have my hatchet here, right? If I'm gonna be, I wanna make sure that the head is well attached, especially if it's one of those hatchets that become separate. And when you're gonna swing, you want to take a couple of swings in the air to get comfortable with the handle, to the way you're taking it, you're handling it. And you wanna make sure there's no branches, there's nothing on top, that when I swing up, it might get entangled here. So I want to make sure that I have enough clearance on top and make sure that there's nobody around me, because maybe when I'm swinging, I can hit somebody on the back. Maybe a pathfinder comes running behind me, and when I swing, I can hit them. I don't want to do that. So I have to be mindful of my surroundings. I have to see where my target is. I look at the log of wood and I see where my target is. Yeah, it's not like I chop blindly and here and then. No, I want to point always to the same place. Make sure the hatchet and the handle are firmly adjusted. We cover that. When walking, make sure the hatchet edge is not facing towards you. So I have my hatchet here, and you see that my hatchet has a protector. It's very important for me to keep that protector on when I'm not using it. And when I'm walking, I don't want to have this pointing at me, pointing at my leg or something. I want to make sure that the blade is facing away from me. Walk with a steady step when holding the hatchet. So we have clumsy people. Sometimes I can be clumsy too. Creepy accidents could happen, that somebody is handling a knife, right? And when they're handing you the knife, they tripped and they can land in their own knife. You don't want that. So when you're carrying these things, you want to handle it firmly. You don't want it to slip off your hand and land on somebody's feet or somebody's toes. So you grab it firmly. You put the cover when not in use. Store the hatchet in its case when not in use. So all covers, for instance, I have, this is a saw, right? This is a camping saw. It has a safety click here. When I'm using it, it's gonna be like this, but when I'm not gonna use it, I don't need to have it open. So I will put the clip and close it. And all these things, when we're in person, I will bring these knives and this hatchet and this saw so you guys can become familiar. It's something good to have them in your equipment. But for instance, this one doesn't stay closed. So I need that, I know that I need to have it either with a rubber band or with a string or something to have it securely tied away. All right. So we covered that, and we are going to be wrapping. We're not going to be able to do the full honor today because we have a meeting at 8. So we will talk about fires on the following session. We will pick up from question number 10. All right, when we come back on next Monday, and we will start camping skills 2. I don't want you to miss, for those directors going to Wyoming, I don't want you to miss that meeting tonight. But you can start already working on your worksheet. You see, I have it here for my using computer, but you will have to do it by hand. Remember, it's by hand. So we are up to question 9 right now. You have in the back a chart with personal items. You can start naming the items that we covered, and I will be uploading immediately this PDF in Google Classroom. So you can always go back and rewind, relearn what if you didn't take notes, you can always go back. So we are missing fire safety. And question 11 will be done on the field because we will have to be baking bread on a stick. That's a requirement. And when we go to our Master Guide Camporee, we will be doing that. I will be bringing dough and teaching you how to do that. All right, so we will be doing bread on a stick when we go on our Wilderness Camporee or the Master Guide Camporee. We will be talking about how to clean our dishes because we will need to be installing 3 stations. And this is different when we go to Camporee. This is where you start noticing the differences, because at Camporee, we go practical. We bring paper plates, we bring disposable utensils, right? And one person is in charge of the kitchen, and that person is taking care of everything. When we can camp out with our local club or ourselves, we have to do that. We have to assign who's going to be doing dishes, who's going to be cooking, who's going to be building the fire. And eventually, the idea is that everybody rotates and everybody learns how to do all these things. This is something different from Camporee. In Camporee, you don't get to do these things because there's a time constraint for you to move on to the next activity. So we will be talking in the future about the washing stations, sleeping wear, and we're very close to the end, but so we're probably 10 minutes away, but we're going to stop here at question number 10. So I want to know if anybody has questions up to question 9. Any questions? Now is your time. We will be finishing up in 2 minutes. You can type it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. So somebody was asking me question number 9, the last 2, they're right there. And remember, I'm gonna upload this PDF in Google Classroom. I'll show you where I'm gonna put it. So hold on, this is not my account.
Question, hi.
Yes,
Do
hi.
we have to do a reaction paper to this?
No, this is an honor. You will add it in section 3A. Leadership skills, I think is, and you have a section for camping skills 1 through 4. You can upload it there. You can upload it there, but remember, you will be uploading also later on camping skills 2 and camping skills 3 and camping skills 4. Hopefully, by the time we have our Camporee in at the end of August, at the beginning of September, we will be having already all the theory. So you go here to classwork, section 3A, it's skills development, and you see we have here camping skills. You have the worksheets here, and I will be adding tonight's recording and tonight's presentation in here as well for you. I think I'm just gonna be doing it separately, one for camping skills 1, one for camping skills 2, one for camping skills 3. So that way you don't get confused, because right now all camping skills are together, but I'm gonna separate them. So when you finish one, you can upload it. If you did this with your club, again, let me know if you already have the patches I'm gonna validate that you did it, but that only means that you're gonna have 4 more honors to replace with something else. All right, if you already have camping skills 1 through 4, that's 4 honors that you need to replace with another honors. So you can take advantage of the honor day that we're having in the Bronx area. There are 3 locations. The flyer is in the chat. So you can replace it with any, it can be nature, it can be recreation, it can be from another conference. Just keep in mind, by the time you get invested, you need to have 20. So if some of the required ones, you already have them, you have to replace them with something else. And here I will be uploading the honor. So what you need to submit is pretty much just your answer sheet. You need to fill this by hand. And if you already took it and you have it signed, you can scan it and upload it if you did it with your club previously. If you have the patches, just let me know so I can make a form and give it to you so you can submit. And I know you already have this honor. And if not, you upload it here and I will sign it digitally right here. All right, so just keep in mind that we're only up to question 9. We will retake from question 10 next week. Any other question? Let me see. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna end up now so we can jump to the other meeting. I'm going to ask Sister Agnes if you can help us with the last prayer, please.
Are you guys hearing me?
Yes.
Dear kind and loving Father, we want to thank you for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We want to thank you for the blessed day that you have brought us this far by faith. Father, Lord, as we are about to embark, as we are about to separate one from another, please do not separate your presence from us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Sister Agnes. Everybody, please start filling up your answers. And next week, we're 10 minutes away from finishing it, and we will start camping skills too. The idea is by the end of August that you have all 4 camping skills 1 through 4.
Sister Ruth, quick
Yes.
question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it necessary that they have to upload it from where you just show them, or they could print it off anyhow?
They can print it out. They have to do it by hand. So they need to print it out, fill it by hand, and then either take a photo or scan it and upload it for us.
Okay.
Right. We're not taking computer answers. Remember, you
Amen.
can type it in.
Amen.
It's by hand. All
Okay.
right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It says if we already have this honor. Yeah, if you already have this honor, reach out to me, say you already took it with your club, and you have to have 2 things, either one, to prove me that you did it. You either have to have the patch in your sash, or you have to have the worksheet signed from previous years. All right. So if you have any, or if you have, if you have any of those things, and the same applies for the classes. Remember that you have to do 2 classes. 2 for Pathfinders and 2 for Adventures. If you already have your buttons and you have the class strip and you have it in your sash, I'll take that. I'm not even going to be asking, give me your book or give me your binder from past years. If you already have it, then you're good. If you don't have it, please talk to your director or go to Advent Source and order the books so you can start doing it on your own. Especially if you're doing Pathfinder this year, you can get the books for Adventures and start at least coloring the coloring part, because that's usually what it takes longer. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Monday at the same time. If you have any question, please reach out. You can do it through the chat. You can send me a text message.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.